There is a way to know whether you're a good driver, but you have to be brave to be able to go through with it. You need to ask your passenger if you're a good driver, and you're not allowed to lead it by saying, I'm a good driver, aren't I? Because because you haven't got the balls. You have to literally just say, am I a good driver? Or how do I make you feel when I drive you around? That's the question. That's what you need to do, because the passenger is going to turn round to you if they're not scared of you and they're going to like probably delicately say something about how your driving makes them feel safety wise. Sorry about the eyebrows, by the way. I had them tattooed yesterday again, just powdered. They just need to calm down. But yeah, so the passenger is going to tell you how they feel about their safety in your car. There is a godlike complex that can sometimes develop with people when they drive, and they're like, oh, you know, I'm so good at driving, it's everybody else on the road that's the problem, when actually they're the issue. Or they can add to the issues. Like I cannot tell you how many times somebody will overtake one of my learners in such a dangerous way, and they're kind of giving off the vibe that we're annoying and we're the worst driver ever. And then when they overtake, they nearly have a head-on collision, like or they hit a bike, or they don't see someone in the junction, or something nightmarish that they do because they haven't planned it properly. Or you see somebody like irritated with somebody else on the road, and then they overtake them, and then they almost have a catastrophic accident because of their behaviour. It's like there's this kind of everybody thinks that they're the best and everybody else is the worst, and you need to keep on checking in with yourself, because you know if you're a good driver when you pass your test, right, over the years it can soften, right, and you can get lazy, and your driving can change. So if you're brave, I think you need to ask your passengers semi-regularly, maybe every sort of like 2 to 5 years. I think you need to check and actually ask, I think. But you have got to be brave. When you ask the question, you've got to put your bravery suit on, and you've got to listen, because that person is going to tell you how they feel about their safety in your car. You're basically looking after somebody's life when you're driving them around. And it's one of those things that people won't tell you because they're too frightened. Yeah, it's a little bit, I mean, it depends on your mate, right? It depends on the balls of the person in the car, but a lot of the people are not going to say it. If you go and use someone's toilet in their house, you know, you're not going to come back down like necessarily and be like, flipping hell, man, this is fucking staying there, or, you know, or whatever. You know, it's one of those kind of like private things that people talk about you behind your back. You know, I cannot tell you, like I hear so many people, like so many students get in my car and they're like, oh yeah, my mate George has just passed, but he's not very good. He drives around so fast, I don't feel safe. Like, I hear this all the time. And George is out there with his like chair right back like that, with his cap on, like driving like this, going around all the corners, like thinking he looks like a legend, thinking that he looks like the god, thinking that he has like nailed life. And all of his passengers are secretly like thinking, you are so bad. Like, I feel so unsafe. Yeah. And he is the only person in the car that thinks he's good. He'll drop all of his mates off, like smoking his cigarette, thinking he's like really cool, when everybody just thinks it's the worst thing ever. There's a delusion that goes on. There isn't a person that thinks that's cool apart from the driver. Correct me if I'm wrong, because we're talking about safety. You're going to go and talk about George behind his back because you don't feel safe. If you went to Alton Towers and you didn't feel safe because the carriage was wobbling or something, you'd report it. You don't feel safe. It's a safety thing. Do you know what I mean? So I'd be really brave if I were you, but it's gonna sting. It's gonna sting, and you need to listen. You don't want to have an argument with these people when they tell you something about your drive. Ask the right person, yeah, so you know you're not going to be like absolutely torn apart by someone. You know, like ask the correct person who's going to be like kind but tell you the truth, and listen. You know, if they say, oh, when you go around corners, you know, it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, or I don't like it when you break the speed limit, or whatever, I don't feel safe when you come out of a junction too fast, yeah, I think you should really listen, yeah. Your passenger knows, because I'm afraid the driver doesn't know. There's a blindness that happens. You become blind to your own skill after you've been left and there's no driving instructor looking at it, or there's no accompanying driver looking at it anymore, and you're left to your own devices. You kind of make up your own drive, and unless you're brave, you're going to be blind to your own driving, like weaknesses, yeah. And yeah, I just feel like you should check in with somebody. All right, that's how to know. So let's just see if anyone's brave enough to be able to ask the question. If you are, drop it down in the comments and let us know what they say.